Alright, for this video lesson, we're jumping to 8.4, and we're still going to use the FOIL method, but we're going to use the FOIL method to kind of use a trick to kind of use a shortcut for certain types of binomials when we FOIL them out. Now, if you look, you see we have warm up, we want to multiply. Let's just do the FOIL method with it. I'll just do it for number 1. Let's see here. If I do the FOIL method, let's see here. If I multiply this x with this x, we get x squared. Okay, the outer terms is this x and this negative 4, so that gives us negative 4x. Then the inner term is this 4 with this x, so it's positive 4x. And then we multiply the last terms, we're multiplying this 4 and this negative 4. 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. Now what winds up happening that we haven't seen before, the two middle terms, these are the like terms, negative 4x plus 4x, well that cancels out, that's 0, that goes away. So we just end up with two terms, x squared minus 16. Alright, that is always going to happen. Now this was the original problem, x plus 4 times the quantity of x minus 4. Here's the shortcut for it. If you ever have the same terms, and in this we have x and we have 4, but if one has a plus and the other has a minus, the middle terms are always going to cancel out, the inner and the outer terms. So if you just look at the first term, it basically just does this. This is basically what's going to equal. It's the first term squared minus, I'll put the second term squared. So if you look, the first term in this is x, so that's x squared. Then we'll put minus, the second term is this 4. Well, 4 squared gives us this 16. So to kind of sum it up, for a product of a sum and difference, so if we have a minus b times a plus b, it really just winds up giving us a squared minus b squared. The inner and the outer terms cancel out. Okay. Now, to kind of further emphasize, I'm still going to FOIL out number 1, but then I'm going to go to the shortcut. What we eventually want you guys to do and to understand is, once you see it's this pattern, the product of a sum and difference, skip FOILing out and go right to this, because it gives you the answer right away. That's the shortcut. This is a mathematical way of saying this. First term squared minus second term squared. All right, number 1, I said I'm going to FOIL this one. So if I do FOIL this, okay, right, if I multiply first term x times x is x squared. The outer terms is this x times this negative 5, that's negative 5x. The inner term is positive 5 times this x, which is positive 5x. And if you multiply the last, positive 5 times negative 5 gives us negative 25. And just like the warm-up problem, the inner and the outer terms right here, negative 5x plus 5x is 0, goes away. So we end up with x squared minus 25. Okay, an easy way, if you had x plus 5 and x minus 5, if you just square this x, you get this x squared. If you square this 5 squared gives you 25. So that's the shortcut. Okay, so if I look at number 2, well, it's x plus 7, x minus 7. It's the same thing in each binomial, except one's a plus, one's a minus. So if I take this first term and I square it, well, that's just x squared. Then it's going to be minus the second term, which is this 7. 7 squared, I'll just put 7 squared. 7 squared is 49. So this is just x squared minus 49. I didn't FOIL that out. If you did FOIL it, you'll get x squared minus 49. Okay, I'm just going to do one more. Let's do number 4. Okay, number 4, again, I have 3x and I have 5 in each, but one's a minus, one's a plus. So I can use this pattern. So the first term is this 3x, so it's this whole quantity, 3x, and we square it. And then it's minus the second term or second number, which is just this 5, so it's 5 squared. Now when you square the 3x, it's 3 squared, x squared, 3 squared is 9, and then x squared, and 5 squared is 25. So it's 9x squared minus 25. Alright, so this is where you can use this, the first term squared minus second term squared. If you can't remember the formula, we always say this, you'll hear us say this, when in doubt, you can FOIL it out. Okay, you can still FOIL it, but this is a little trick, a little shortcut for the product of a sum and difference.